Hello, welcome back. Today I'm gonna tier the Ghost studio albums, so not including 7 Inches of Satanic Panic, Popestar, or if you have Ghost, just the studio albums. Let's do this. Starting with Opus Eponymous. That was fucking cringe. Anyways, you know the album. It's the first one. And by the way, can we just appreciate this artwork? Like, it's all so consistent. Every time it's this great, amazing artwork. And then like the logo in the top middle, it's so freaking cool. I hope the artist gets paid a lot of money for these albums. This album is really good. I really like this one. However, this is the Ghost album I find myself re-listening to the least probably. I love at the beginning you have the organ playing and then it stops and Conclave con Dio kicks in. It's amazing. I love it. Some songs that really stand out to me are obviously Ritual, Elizabeth, Stand By Him. Those are probably my 3 favorite songs. But Conclave con Dio and obviously Satan's Prayer are fucking awesome too. This is just one I find myself not re-listening a lot. This is an album I honestly kind of forget about. So don't get me wrong at all. I love this album. Because I just don't find myself re-listening to this one a whole lot, I'm gonna have to put this one B. And B is still good. Infestissumam. I friggin' love this album. This is potentially my favorite Ghost album. I'm not sure, honestly. I kind of switched back and forth with another one that we'll get to later. Because I love every single track on this album. Like, seriously. Going over the track list of this album, it's impossible to choose a favorite. Though, if I had to, probably Secular Haze. I love that one, and I just love the atmosphere of the music video too. Like, there's smoke everywhere and shit, and it's a super cool video clip. But Ghoulas/Zombie Queen is fantastic too. Like, that's a masterpiece as well. Body and Blood is a fucking phenomenal, catchy song. Depth of Satan's Eyes. I mean, come on, Peraspera ad Inferni. Fucking amazing track. Gigolo Haramejido. Like, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but I love it regardless. And obviously, you have the absolute hit, I guess, of Year Zero. Amazing. Idolatrine is also super catchy, and of course Monstrous Clock is huge, grand, amazing. I'm praising this album so much. I listen to this one all the friggin' time, so it's no surprise that I'm gonna put this one S tier. It's a masterpiece for sure. Now, the album that really competes with Infestissumam will be Meliora. This album is so freaking good. Like, the drums, man, they sound so grand, and like it's being played in a church but mixed really well somehow. So like it just sounds so freaking grand and full, you know, and loud. And I think Spirit is such a killer opening track. Like, that's the perfect way to start off an album. And just like Infestissumam, I can go through the whole track list and be like, these are all amazing. But I won't, because you know the track list, and I can tell you they're all amazing songs. And what I do want to say is that Deus in Absentia is the perfect closing song of this album. And the way it fades in with Devil Church is amazing. This is much like Infestissumam, a front to back easily. So yeah, this one also S tier. Sorry to be so boring and predictable. Prequelle. I love this album more than most people, I would say. And that also might be because I got into Ghost when they just released Prequelle. My first Ghost song was Dance Macabre, which I still think is an amazing song. I'm not too much of a fan of all the interludes. Like, there are a lot, you know. I do really like Miasma, but like, I wouldn't listen to that one separately, you know. You'd only listen to that when you're listening to the whole album, to the full picture, you know. But man, Ashes is such a good opening track too, especially the way it fades into Rats. It's awesome. And then Faith like fucking kicks in, and I love that song. It's one of their heaviest songs, I think. It's fucking amazing. I love that one. That's one of my all-time favorite Ghost songs. I listen to that one all the time. But I also really like See the Light and Which Image. And I think this is where I'm gonna be controversial, because I'm gonna put Prequelle A, so over Opus. But that's just because I listen to it more, you know? And I find more songs from Prequelle re-listen worthy over some songs on Opus, so sorry not sorry. And then the latest Ghost album, Impera. You might have seen my review of this album, my first impressions really, but if you didn't, in that video I said that I didn't really like Driftwood, but I gotta admit that song has really grown on me and I really like that one now, which is pretty much saying I like every track on this album too. I think the intro is absolutely fantastic, like that's a masterpiece in and of itself. I love the acoustic guitar and I love how it fades into Kaiserion. And then you got Spillways, which is just a fun 80s type poppy rock song with heavy drums. Like that's what I really like about this album. There are a lot of 80s poppy influences in it, but then the drums sound heavy as fuck and I love that. Like I'm a huge 80s pop fan too. I don't just listen to metal, and because of that I feel like I can appreciate this album a whole lot more. Call Me Little Sunshine is obviously a new Ghost classic, as well as Hunter's Moon, which is amazing. It just makes me nostalgic for the time Halloween Kills came out and all that hype was going on. Like that was so cool, and I love that it's featured on the album. Watch in the Sky is probably my favorite track from this album. It's so good, dude. Like the riff and the freaking drums, it's amazing. I seriously hope they'll play this live on the 17th of April. Dominion is like one of their best interludes. It's like a horror movie. I know people really don't like 20s, but I gotta admit, I really love it. I think it's catchy and funny and, you know, corny, and to some people a bit too corny, you know, grabbing by the hoo-haws. But I like it. Darkness at the Heart of My Love. Just thinking about the song makes me cry. And then Respite on the Spital Fields. It's the perfect song to send it off. And I gotta admit, when this album came out at first, I wouldn't have put it S tier probably. But that's why I didn't do my tier list right away. I need a couple more listens to let it sink in and really compare it to the other albums. But now, I can say for a fact that this album is a new Ghost masterpiece. For sure. I'm definitely gonna have to put this one S tier. So yeah, there's my list. Do you guys agree with me or do you not agree with me at all? Let me know in the comments down below. And in the outro, you will see a playlist with a lot more Ghost content. So check it out right now.